Hello, grade 5. Today we have another math lesson today. We're going to be starting to go into money. So our lesson today is dollar and cent notation. When we start getting into this, you'll notice some of the stuff that we've covered already as far as decimals, that kind of thing, are very important when we are talking about money and how we show and represent money. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about dollar and cent notation. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Just to let you know, this is a little bit of a longer lesson because there are a few different sheets over a few different days that you'll do related to this lesson. So it is a bit longer. You may not need to watch all of it, but for each section that you're going to be completing at home. But we'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing I just wanted to do is a quick review of Canadian money and talking about loonies and toonies and what dollar amounts they come in. And I'll just talk about the other forms of money that we have here in Canada as well. So loonies and toonies. Dollar amount of loonies is going to be $1. I'm sure most of you are aware of this, but I just wanted to cover it just in case. We'll talk about the coins too that are available. Then toonies would be, of course, $2, and those are coins. What other coins we have too? Now, we don't have a penny, a 1-cent coin. We will be dealing with that in this lesson, just because it is important to know, because there are certain times when you're paying by credit card or things like that where the amounts will not be rounded to the nearest 5 cent. So we are going to be talking about cents, one single penny as well, and how much that would relate. And also if you're traveling someplace, if you're going down to Skagway, then in the United States, they still use pennies. So it is important to understand that and to understand how that is notated. So we will talk about that even though the penny is no longer in circulation in Canada. So when we talk about coins here in Canada, we have 5 cents, which is the nickel. We have 10 cents, which is the dime. And then we've got 25 cents, the quarter. So those are the Canadian coins that we have. Then when we talk about bills, the smallest bill, there's no longer a $1 or $2 bill. So the smallest bill we have is $5. Next would be $10. After that, $20 and $50 comes after that. And finally, the largest denomination that we have currently in circulation is the $100 bill. So you'll see some of these on your exercises that you'll be doing. So I just wanted to do a quick overview of the coins and bills that we have in Canada. All right, so let's get right into this question here. Pretend there is a vending machine that takes only dimes and cents. Now, as I mentioned before, we are going to be talking about pennies and cents. So what would you use to buy a toy that costs 46 cents? There's a little hint that's given here. It says the tens digit tells you how many dimes you need, and the ones digit tells you how many cents you need. So if you need 46 cents, if you're only talking about dimes and cents, we need 4 dimes, because that's the tens place when we're doing cent notation, and then 6 cents or 6 pennies to equal that 46 cents. All right, so let's take a look at these exercises. Just 2 examples here. So how much money is there? 7 dimes and 6 cents. Now remember, dimes are tenths of a dollar, so it's broken into tens. So 7 dimes and 6 cents would be 76 cents. And when we're doing the cent notation, we have a C with a line through it to indicate cents. And then for B, 8 dimes and 9 cents, we combine that for 89 cents. Just like that. Pretty simple if we're talking about just dimes and cents, because we're looking at the tens place and and the ones place there. Okay, moving right along. Now, I showed you how to write cent notation. Now I'm going to show you how to write dollar notation. So when we're talking about 26 cents, we're really talking about parts of $1. So we're talking about an amount less than $1, and you can see how that's similar to what we've talked about with decimals. So if we're writing it in dollar notation, what we're going to do, and the symbol for dollar is an S with a line through it. Some people write 2 lines through it. You'll see it a lot of times when it's typed with just 1 line. Usually I write 2 lines just to have it, but either way is correct. So since we have 26 cents, we have 26 hundredths of a dollar. So we're going to write that for how many dollars we have. We have a 0, then our decimal point, and then 2 tenths or 2 dimes, and 6 cents or 6 pennies. So that's how we would write 26 cents in dollar notation. So we have to have our dollar sign. We have our 0 to indicate that there's $0, and then our decimal point, and then our 2 and 6 to show 26 cents. So you can write amounts less than $1 in dollar notation. Either way is correct, but just remember that if you're doing it in dollar notation, you need that decimal point there to show that it's an amount less than $1. And when you're writing in cent notation, you don't want to have a decimal point. Okay, so now we're just going to go over a few of these, how to write these in dollar notation. So I've got 3 dimes and 8 cents. So if I put that together, that's 38 cents. But remember, we're doing that in dollar notation. So we put our dollar sign, our 0, since we have less than $1, decimal, and then 3/8. 4 dimes and 2 cents, which would be 42 cents. So I put my dollar sign, 0.42, 57 cents. Now here it's just written out for us. All I do, dollar sign, 0.57, and then finally in D for 29 cents, dollar sign, 0.29. One thing I wanted to point out, and we'll get into this a little bit later in the lesson too, if you notice what I do when we're converting from cent notation to dollar notation, the decimal point in cent notation is to the right of the 9 there, right? So when we move it to dollar notation, we're moving it 2 places over. And the reason we're doing that is because we're basically dividing that by 100. Because remember, we're talking about fractions of a dollar, fractions of a whole. So we're putting it into hundredths there. So that is why you'll see the decimal point move in that way. And that'll be more important when I start showing you amounts that are in cent notation but show more than 100 cents, which we will get into. This interesting question here is, how many dimes are in 8 cents? And if we think how we write 8 cents in cent notation, just like that, 8 cents. But now remember what I was saying about moving that decimal point when we're going to dollar notation. So in here, it's not written, but technically there's a decimal point right there after the 8. So if we're moving it and doing dollar notation, we put our dollar sign, put our 0 for the amount of dollars. Then we've got to put a 0 here in the tenths place and 8 there in the hundredths place. So that's showing 8 cents. So to answer that question, how many dimes are there in 8 cents? There are 0 dimes in 8 cents because it's less than a tenth of a dollar. All right, so we're going to write some into dollar notation again. 0 dimes and 6 cents. Now remember, since we have 0 dimes, we're going to have to make sure that we have a 0 to the right of the decimal point. So 0.06, 3 cents. Dollar sign, 0.03. Because remember, 1 cent is 1/100th of a dollar. So and hopefully you're seeing that connection between what we've been learning with decimals and how that relates to money. 7 cents, again, $0.007. Now we have 5 dimes and 0 cents. $0, 5 dimes, so 5/10 of a dollar. So we put a 5. 0 cents, when we're writing with money, and I know in some of the earlier lessons, when we had an answer where we did not have a digit to the right of the tenths place, we would just leave it off. But when we're writing money, we put that in to show 50 cents. So 0.50, dollar sign is important. 40 cents, same thing, 0.40. And then finally, for exercise F, 92 cents, dollar sign, 0.92. So basically, when you're converting something from cent notation or from words into dollar notation, you're moving a decimal point 2 spaces. Okay, so here's what I was talking about, converting cent notation to dollar notation, but now we're getting into amounts that are greater than 100. So 348 cents equals 300 cents and 48 cents. So what we do here, since we have 300 cents, we know that's going to equal $3 because 100 cents equals $1. So we write that, we write our dollar sign, 3.48 equals $3.48. Now, kind of an easy thing to remember here when you're getting these numbers is that the decimal point is always going to be put right here so that you have 2 digits to the right. Because like I said, we're really dividing by 100 when we're converting from cent notation to dollar notation. So the decimal point here, we've got 1,746 cents. So we have 1,700 cents, 46 cents. And so our decimal point is always going to go there so that there are always 2 digits to the right of the decimal point. So then we write that just like this. Dollar sign, $17.46. If you notice here, remember when we have a number that's divisible by 100, if we divide it by 100, we can get rid of the 2 zeros. So there's our $17 and then the 46 cents. But you're always going to go, when you have an amount greater than 100 cents, converting it to dollar notation, you're always going to have 2 digits to the right of the decimal. So it makes it pretty easy, really, no matter how big the number is, to show that in dollar notation. Let me just bring this down here, and there's what I was saying there, that the decimal point is always in front of the last 2 digits. So if you remember that, if you keep that in mind, it'll be easy to convert any amount of cents that you are given into dollar notation. Okay. So here we go. We'll have a few that we're going to write in dollar notation. And if you look, we've got some bigger numbers here. So, and they're all over 100. So we've got 300 cents. Remember, there's going to be 2 digits to the right of the decimal. Dollar sign, 3.00. 800 cents. We want 2 digits to the right of the decimal. So, dollar sign, 8.00. 1,000 cents. Dollar sign first. 2 digits to the right of the decimal, so that's where we're going to need to put our decimal. So 10.00, $10. 1,200 cents. Dollar sign. 12.00, $12. And here's what I was saying, we've got a bigger number here, 48,400 cents. So we write that in dollar notation. We put our dollar sign first. 484. I want 2 digits, those 2 zeros, to the right of the decimal. So 484.00, and we say that as $484. hopefully that's not too difficult to understand. All right, so we'll just have a couple more here. Now, because those were all numbers that were divisible by 100, but now I'm just going to show you how that looks when we have numbers that are not. But again, if you keep in mind that you have to have 2 digits to the right of the decimal point when you convert from cent notation to dollar notation, these should still be pretty easy. So A, 156 cents, dollar sign, 1.56, so $1.56. 704 cents, dollar sign, 7.04, $7.04. Again, 2 digits to the right of the decimal, and you'll get it right every time. 1,804 cents, dollar sign, 18.04, $18.04. And this one is a bonus, just a bigger number. But even though it's a bigger number, it's the same principle. You're doing the same thing where you're making sure that you have 2 digits to the right of the decimal. So we put our dollar sign in, 296.04, $296.04. So even if you are given a really long number, a lot of cents, hundreds of thousands of cents, millions of cents, if you remember that you have to have 2 digits to the right of the decimal, you can easily convert that to dollar notation every single time. Okay. Now, changing dollar notation to cent notation. So we just went over going from cent to dollar. Now we're going to do the reverse. So shown here, $13.85 equals, and then just written out, $13.85. So first we want to know how many cents are in $13. So if you just pretend we're just talking about the $13, we put zeros there. So that would mean just in $13, there's 1,300 cents. Then we have 85 cents. So basically we're going to add that to that, and that's going to be 1,385 cents. Now, if you notice what we are doing here, remember when we write the cent notation, we don't have a decimal. So basically, if you're given this amount, you just take out the decimal. Instead of having a dollar sign at the front, you put the cent sign at the end, and that will give you your answer. So if you remember that too, to take out the decimal, put your cent sign. Pretty easy to change from dollar notation to cent notation. So here we go. We're going to do a few exercises here. And there's a lot of them, but really they're pretty simple. So $8, 800 cents. I have the same numbers. I take out my decimal, put a cent sign. B, $17, 1700, 1,700 cents. 28 cents. Notice there's no dollar, so remember we just write our 28, our cent sign, 4 cents. 4 cents. $3.54, so 354 cents. $9.03, 903 cents. $30.42, 3,042 cents. I've got the same digits there. I just have my cent sign instead of a dollar sign, and I take out a decimal point. Just to point out for D here, so since I take out my decimal point, I don't need to write those 2 zeros before the 4, so I just need to write the 4 cents. Then we have a bonus one, which is going to give you a larger number to look at. $999.99, just below $1,000. Same thing here. If I just take out my decimal point and I write those 5 nines and put my cent sign, so I've got 99,999 cents. So really Pretty easy if you just remember that you're taking out the decimal point, you take out your dollar sign, and you put your cent sign instead. Okay, now we have some exercises. Which is more money? So, in example A, we have 80 cents or 205 cents. Now, if we have it in the same notation, pretty easy, because all you're going to look at, especially if you have an uneven amount of digits, what is greater, 205 or 80? 205 is, of course, greater. So if the digits are, if one of them has more digits, right away that's going to tell you that that is the greater amount. 3,579 cents or 543. Here there are more digits, so that's telling me that's bigger. Keep in mind that this is only going to work if you have the notation being the same, which we do here. So in C, 344 cents or 7,102 cents. There are more digits here. 7,102 is greater than 344, so we know that that's going to be more money. Okay, now, again, we just have comparing more money. Now, though, we have a couple of examples where we have the same amount of digits, so we have to look a little bit closer. In A, we do not, because we have 274,108 cents versus 27,410 cents. More digits in the 274,000, so I know that's going to be my bigger number. Now, B is where we have to start comparing each place. So, because here we've got 31,763 cents versus 31,518 cents. Now remember, this is just like when we're comparing regular numbers. We just have a cent notation to indicate that we're talking about money here. But to compare them to see which is bigger, we do the same thing. So we're going to look. We start all the way to the left. And in this case, that's in the 10,000s place. So it's the same. So that means I've got to keep moving. And basically, I have to keep moving to the right until I find a difference. Because here, in the thousands place, we have a 1. So again, the same. So far, we can't tell. But it's when I get to the hundreds place that I see a 7 versus a 5. So, since 7 is bigger than 5, we have the same amount of digits. These first two are the same. That indicates to me that 31,763 is going to be more money than 31,518 cents. And same thing here, big number, but it's the same principle. No matter how big the number is, if they're the same number of digits, you line it up, and then you start comparing digits to see where you come up with a difference. So we've got 2,400,381 cents versus 2,381,400 cents. So we look at our millions place, a 2 in both of them. That doesn't help us. But thankfully here, we get to our 100,000s place, and there's a difference right away, and 4 is bigger than 3, so that tells me that this is going to be more money, 2,400,381 cents. So hopefully, again, if you remember how we compared numbers, lining up the place values when we have the same amount of digits, should be pretty easy when you have to do those on your exercises, on your worksheets. Okay, so here we start dealing with different notations. So we've got 234 cents and $2.15. Basically, there are two ways that you can do this. We've got the same amount of numbers, right? And if you remember from before, if we can either change this, you can change this to cent notation or change this to dollar notation, and that might help you out a bit. So I'll go ahead and first change the 234 cents to dollar notation. So when I'm changing from cent notation to dollar notation, I just need to make sure that I have 2 digits to the right of the decimal. I've got my dollar sign, $2.34. And again, if I line these up, 2 and 2 are the same, but I look into where my dimes are, my tenths place, I see that 3 is bigger than 1. That tells me that 234 cents is going to be bigger. You could do it the other way too. Take out the decimal and write that as 215 cents. And then again, you do the same thing, comparing your place values, and that will tell you. But so just make sure that you are comparing the same notation so that you either convert it to both to dollars or both to cent notation. So here we go again, same thing. So just here's a few examples here on what I'm talking about. So I've got 1,234 cents or $7.56. I'm going to convert this to $12.34. I can see more digits, that's going to be bigger. So that is the bigger amount, or circle that one. $9,875 or $98,756. This one, just for fun, I'm going to convert it to cent notation. So that's going to be 9,000, or sorry. Now remember, I've got to put 2 zeros on the end there. So that's telling me that I've got 987,500 cents versus 98,756 cents. So since I'm putting 2 zeros on the end here, because remember there's got to be 2 numbers to the right, that's telling me that this is a greater amount than that. Now we have 9 cents, and if we read this, even though it's in dollar notation, it's 8 cents. So I know 9 cents is bigger than 8 cents. And then 40 cents, or this is 4 cents, because we take out the decimal, 4 cents. So I know that 40 cents is going to be bigger than 4 cents. Oh, let me just erase that. Sorry about that. So for here, it asks us to write the money amount in dollar notation. So A, we've got $4.40. So now we just have it written out. So $4, put our dollar sign because we're doing dollar notation, and then 40 cents, so a 40 after our decimal. $18.05, dollar sign, 18.05, $73.84, 73.84, $73.84, and $50.60, dollar sign, 50.60, so $50.60. And here's a bonus, $700,000.08, dollar sign, 700,000.08. So there's $700,000.08. Okay, just 2 more pages to go through here, and then we're all done. I know this is a bit of a longer lesson, but it covers really 3 different worksheets that you're going to be working on in the coming days. So now it's just asking us to write the amounts in cent notations, then circle the greater amount. So here I've got $10.35. So if we have $10, that's going to indicate to me that that's 1,000 pennies or 1,000 cents. So then I have to have my 35, so 1,035 cents. Or it wants to know 1,000, and that's already in cent notation, 1,125 cents. Again, I look at, we have the same amount of digits, but I start from the left to see where I have a difference. Here I've got a 1, which is greater than 0. So that's the bigger amount. $3.50. So $3 is 300 cents. Then we have to add our 50. So I've got 350 cents or 305 cents. 350 is greater than 305. And this one, we'll skip C because it only has one number there. But we've got now, for D, 63 cents. So we're going to just write that as 63 cents and $6.30. Remember, take out my decimal, so I've got 630 cents. So 630 is bigger than 63. So that tells me my answer right there. Okay, so finally we've got one last thing, and this is just asking how many we have two more pages. So how much money is in each stack? So 19 pennies, and I'll write this in either dollar or cent notation, just depending on what makes more sense. So 19 pennies, that's just going to be 19 cents. So I'm going to write that in cent notation. 8 nickels. Now, if you remember way back from the beginning of the lesson, I mentioned that nickels are 5 cents. So we've got to multiply 8 times 5. So 8 times 5 is going to give us 40 cents. So again, I'm going to write that in cent notation. 21 dimes. So now we're getting in with a bigger amount. But if you remember that dime is worth 10 cents, we're just going to multiply 21 times 10. Which, remember, when we're multiplying something by 10, we can add a 0 onto the end. So that would be 210 cents. If you wanted to write that in dollar notation, remember you have to have 2 digits to the right of the decimal, so $2.10. 5 quarters. A quarter is worth 25 cents. So if we have 5 of them, that's going to be 125 cents, or written in dollar notation, $1.25. 6 loonies. Remember that a loonie is worth $1. You could also say $1 is 100 cents. So we could write it as either 600 cents or $6. And then 3 $5 bills. 5 times 3 is 15. So $15, just like that. All right, so hopefully that's, if you remember your amounts of what your dollars or coins are worth, these kind of exercises should be fairly easy. And now we are coming to our final page in this. And this will just be, you will have some questions on what coins you can use to make a certain amount. So think about this question. What coins could you use to make 80 cents? Now, there are different answers because there are different ways, since we have different denominations of coins, that we could get to 80 cents. One way we could do is use 80 pennies. So that could be one answer. 80 pennies. We could do 8 dimes. 16 nickels. Now we could also, though, do things where we have combinations. There are a lot of different combinations that we could do. So we could do, say, 2 quarters and 3 dimes. So that would be 2 quarters is 50 cents. 3 dimes would be 30 cents. So 50 plus 30 is 80. That would be another way. We could say 5 dimes and 6 nickels. We could say, what else could we say? We could say 3 dimes, 10 nickels. So as you see, there's a lot of different coins we could use, a lot of different combinations that we could use to make up 80 cents. Now, just one last thing. You may be asked at some point how you can make an amount using the fewest coins possible. So if you think of the fewest coins possible, we want to start with our largest denomination coin that's less than $1, since our amount is less than $1. So the largest coin that we have here is a quarter, 25 cents. So if I take 3 quarters, that's going to give me 75 cents. And I still need 5 more cents to get to 80. Now you could say 5 pennies, but since we have a nickel, which is valued at 5 cents, we can just use one more nickel, which equals 5 cents. And if you add those together, you get 80 cents. So that would be the fewest amount of coins you could use to make 80 cents, 3 quarters and 1 nickel. And that is actually all that I have for you today. Remember, this is for a few different exercise sheets over a few different days. So I know it was kind of a long lesson, but some of it you may just need for certain exercises. So hopefully that all makes sense. Now, of course, if you do have any questions about this, you can get in contact with me or have your parents do that. And also, every Thursday, myself and Madame Donald host a Zoom meeting at 1 o'clock where we will answer any math questions that you have in small groups. So feel free to come visit us then. You can find the link on our class pages. So that's all I've got today. I hope everyone is doing well. Miss seeing all of you, and hopefully I'll see you all soon. Have a wonderful day.